There we go. Back on again. Gonna try, yeah. Gonna do some more editing. Starting on chapter 15. I look tired as hell. Because I am pretty tired. But I keep making progress on this. I'm gonna get some tea brewing. And I don't know, give this stream at least half an hour, maybe an hour. See how far I can get. Hopefully I get past like the first page of this. It's 7 pages long. It's almost 3,000 words. I don't want to add anything to this. I just want to cut. This is kind of my final chapter. Excuse me, but not really. This is a final chapter, but not the final chapter, I guess you could say. And rotate phone. There we go. There we go. There we go. That down. All right. So what I gotta look for: protect the emotional spine, don't over-explain. It's letting go versus staying. There's editing rule: if one does not advance the argument or sharpen it, consider cutting it or compressing it. You can often turn a paragraph of explanation into one charged sentence with teeth. Tighten dialogue where it becomes circular. Watch tonal drift near the end, especially after burning the raft. Clarify the island's logic without explaining it. All right. All right. I am going to heat up some water, get some tea going, and work on getting through this first page at least. Hopefully more. No, what do you want? Do you need treats? You finished your food, so you need treats? Okay. Alrighty. I'm back. So, just had to give Lulabelle a treat. I still don't like that kitchen light on. Had to give Lulabelle a treat because she actually finished her dinner, and then for some reason I'm falling into the pattern where if Lulabelle gets a treat, Mojo gets a treat. Alright. Chapter 15. Arista had kept her distance since the storm. Arista kept her distance since the storm. For weeks now, Garrett could only catch glimpses of her at dawn or dusk. Never long enough to hold her, never close enough to ask why. Each morning he woke to a cold indentation where her body had been. The sheets of woven kelp still warm, but already drying at the edges. She would slip away before sunrise, leaving only the echo of her touch. Arista kept her distance since the storm. For weeks now, Garrett could catch only glimpses of her at dawn or dusk. Mm. Garrett would only catch glimpses of her at dawn or dusk. Never during the daylight. Tea. What kind of tea am I gonna have? Maybe a little. I want the chamomile because it is that time. I should be unwinding. For a while there, I was going to bed at 9 p.m. It's good for me. I need to get back on a better routine. I need to get back into working out, eating healthier, maybe even doing some fasting. I've let myself get fat and lazy lately. Arista kept her distance since the storm. For weeks now, Garrett would only catch glimpses of her at dawn and dusk, never during the daylight. Each night she would cling to him. Seemingly, hi! Exhausted. Interested only in sleeping or making love. not talking. Each morning he woke to a cold indentation where her body had been. Each morning he awoke to a cold indentation where her body had been. The sheets of woven kelp still warm but already drying at the edges. I don't know if I like the woven kelp. Each morning he awoke to a cold indentation where her body had been. The sheets still warm but already drying at the edges. Cooling at the edges, she would slip away before sunrise, leaving only the echo of her touch. When he did find her, she would appear suddenly, rising out of the surf in a shimmer of spray or stepping from behind the palms with absolutely no sound. Nights were still theirs. You can get rid of all that. Arista kept her distance since the storm. Each morning he awoke to a cold indentation where her body had been. The sheets still warm but already cooling at the edges. She would slip away before sunrise, leaving only the echo of her touch. When he did find her, she would appear suddenly, rising out of the surf in a shimmer of spray. Or stepping from behind the palms with absolutely no sound. Arista kept her distance since the storm. Back to Had. Arista had kept her distance since the storm. Each morning he awoke to a cold indentation where her body had been, the sheets still warm but already cooling at the edges. So do I not like that? I don't think I like that. I think I do like this. El sabor a tu salud. Add flavor to your health. Arista had kept her distance since the storm. Each morning Arista had kept her distance since the storm. I'm back to Arista kept her distance since the storm. Been distant since the storm. Each morning Garrett awoke to a cold indentation where her body had been, the sheets still warm but already cooling at the edges. When he did find her, she would appear suddenly rising out of the surf in a shimmer of spray or stepping from behind the palms with absolutely no sound. Quietly. Nights were still theirs. In the tiny cave that served as their home on the island-born mattress that had become their entire world, she clung to him with a new quiet desperation. The wilderness in her had softened into something tender and painfully gentle. But by morning she would slip away before sunrise, leaving only the echo of her touch. It might have been paradise if not for the resignation that had settled on her like a weight, pulling her down toward the cold ocean that had once been her only home. It could have been paradise if not for the resignation that had settled on her like a weight, pulling her down toward the cold ocean that had once been her home. This morning, as Garrett combed the shoreline to search for her, he saw her at last, already in her human form, walking toward him from the far end of the beach. There was a slow determination in her stride that made his stomach twist. As they drew close, she lifted her hand to take his. Her voice, when she finally spoke, was soft and humbled in a way that frightened him. Arista was many things, but meek had never been one. Arista had been distant since the storm. Each morning Garrett awoke to a cold indentation where her body had just been. The sheets still warm, but already cooling at the edges. Sheets still warm, but cooling at the edges. I don't need this sentence. Nights were still theirs. He would search for her. He never saw her during the day. Nights were still theirs. In the tiny cave that served as their home on the island-born mattress It had become their entire world. She clung to him with a new, quiet desperation. The wilderness in her had softened into something tender and painfully gentle. But by morning she would slip away before sunrise, leaving only the echo of her touch. Lazy, just punching this right into ChatGPT. These first 3 paragraphs. 4 paragraphs. 3 paragraphs. Tighten revision, leaner, cleaner. You're very close here. This is mostly about clarity, compression, and rhythm, not big rewrites. I'll give you a tightened revision and explain why each change works so you can apply the same instincts elsewhere. Resentment distances the storm. Yeah. Each morning Garrett awoke to a cold indentation where her body had been, the woven sheet still warm but cooling at the edges. He searched for her daily but never found her in the daylight. He would search for her never found her in the daylight. Nights were still theirs. In the small cave that served as their home on the island, worn mattress that had become their entire world, she clung to him with a new, quiet desperation. The wilderness in her had softened into something tender, painfully gentle. By morning she slipped away before sunrise, leaving only the echo of her touch. It might have been paradise if not for the resignation that had settled over her like a weight. Around the pond, the stone pillars had all fallen save one. Beyond that quiet ruin, and Arista's mirrored withdrawal, the island remained unchanged beneath its ever-shifting stars. This morning, as Garrett combed the shoreline to search for her, he saw her at last. Already in her human form. Walking toward him from the far end of the beach. There was a slow determination in her slut. A slow resignation. In her stride that made his stomach twist. As they drew close, she lifted her hand to take his. Her voice, when she finally spoke, was soft and humble in a way that frightened him. Arista was many things, but weak had never been one. I love you, Garrett, even if the island disagrees with me, she swallowed, then guided him forward. I want you to be happy, and I can't keep you here any longer. She led him around the curve of the shore. There, waiting on the sand, was the raft. It was a raft. Sturdy, seaworthy, beautiful. It was crafted from sun-bleached driftwood that she had shaped and fitted together with a precision that spoke of long, silent mornings spent learning the island's currents and reading its moods. Golden coral capped the edges. Shells made soft chimes when the breeze touched them. She even carved patterns into the planks, swirls that reminded him of her swimming, of the way she danced in the water like she belonged to it. He realized then why she had left the bed so early every dawn, and why her shoulders had grown more tired, why her eyes had shifted between hope and sorrow. She had built this for him, alone. Garrett's heart swelled to the point it might burst, and tears welled in his eyes. Arista, he wept as fury rose within his gorge, that twisted his insides into a soft rage. How dare you? After all this time, would you really set me adrift without you? After I traded the entire world for you, there is nothing I want more than to grow old with you by my side. This is the only desire I have left in this world. Island and kingdom be damned. How dare you? After all this time, would you really set me adrift without you? After I traded the entire world for you? I traded the entire world for you. There is nothing I want more than to grow old with you by my side. That is the only desire I have left in this world. Island and kingdoms be damned. Would you really try to take that from me? Arista flinched, not from his words, but from the grief wrapped inside them. Her fingers tightened around his just once before she let his hand. Pushing herself away from him. Garrett, you cannot stay here. Her voice trembled like the tide pulling against itself. The island isn't meant for you. It's been trying to tell me this since the day the storm struck. Since the day you arrived. Since the day you almost... She pressed her lips together, swallowing the memory. painfully. Save me, Arista. The life with you is the only life I want. I want that too, she cried, her composure cracking, but I am not meant for the world beyond this island. You know that. My kind do not walk freely on land. The borders would swallow me. I would drown in places where you would breathe. She shook her head, taking slow steps backward, as if distance could soften the blow. The earth stabs at me. You would drown in places where I breathe. She shook her head, taking slow steps backward, as if distance could soften the blow. The raft is not a prison, Garrett. It's the only way I know to give you a life, a mortal life, a full one. Her voice wavered, not one chained to a creature that should never have kept you. The word kept cut deeper than any blade. You didn't keep me, he said, his voice low. I chose you. I choose you every single day. Marista's eyes shimmered with an ache too old and too deep to be human. Choosing me means dying here with me. And if you stayed, you would. I feel it in the currents. This island would break you, Garrett, slowly, quietly, and I would watch it happen. Her breath caught on the next words. I would rather lose you to the sea than watch it hollow you out. Garrett turned toward the raft, looking at the etched patterns, the polished coral, the careful knots. Each detail was a love letter carved in splinters and salt. She had poured herself into this, and he hated it. You built me a future without you, he said, and now you want me to be grateful? Arista didn't deny it. She only whispered, I want you to live. Garrett's throat burned as the world blurred. He stepped toward the raft, placing a hand on its sun-bleached surface. Then his voice dropped to a trembling whisper. If you send me away, Arista, there will be no future left for me to live. I've already given myself, my hope, to you. She looked him dead in the eye with a slice of the same severity that once pulled him under the ocean. You've made me the bearer of that hope, and it has gotten too heavy for me to bear alone. Carry alone. I cannot be your only happiness any longer. I made us a last meal together. I cooked. Hopefully it is to your liking. After that, I need you to leave before my heart stirs up another storm. He prepared himself to argue, but she had already moved to the fire that burned low and slow nearby. To have his say, he would at least have to indulge her for a meal. They sat and ate in mostly silence, other than a soft praise for her attempt as he ate around the char. This chapter is sad. This is strong. You're firmly in polished mode, not structural repair. What you need now is a few mechanical fixes, sentence tightening, and guarding against emotional over-explanation in the argument so it stays sharp instead of diffuse. We'll do this in 3 parts. Quick mechanical corrections must fix. And then search for her but never find any. Search for her but never found her. Ah. When they were done, she rose with a defiant lift of her chin meant to hide the tears brewing behind her eyes and headed into the ocean. Yeah, I don't like writing this part. This part kind of sucks. Like, this hurts me. Like, it should, but it hurts me. I'm gonna stop streaming now. I'm gonna attempt to call the wife. See if I can't get a hold of her. Say goodnight. So this part really tugs at me. This is where I'm tapping into my marriage quite a bit in order to write this. Most important part, avoid emotional restatement. You don't need to explain why something hurts after it happens. If a line already shows grief or creates conflict, do not follow it with explanation. Let Arista be right even when it hurts. You're doing this well already. Don't turn her into a martyr or someone secretly hoping he'll stay. Her tragedy is that she chooses love by letting go. Guard your metaphors. You use beautiful imagery, just make sure each paragraph uses one dominant image, not three. Storm, tide, weight, chains don't stack in the same paragraph. Pick one, let it breathe. Dialogue pacing. This argument works because Garrett speaks emotionally, Arista speaks inevitably. Keep that contrast intact. If both start sounding poetic at the same time, tension drops. Bottom line, you are no longer fixing prose, you are sculpting impact. This section is emotionally coherent, thematically aligned, dramatically strong. Your job now is cut 10 to 15%, fix the few mechanical slips, stop one step earlier than feels comfortable. If you want next pass, we can do a full rhythm only cut, no content changes, or tighten Arista's dialogue to sound even more ancient and certain. You're very close to done. Yeah, I am. I'm very close to done, and I've done over 1,000 words editing in this section. Which means I got about 3,000 more, and the story is done. Well, not done. I want to go through and do another edit pass. My goal is going to be to sit down and do the entire thing in one long stream. Maybe tomorrow. Well, no, not tomorrow morning. Tuesday, I guess. The 23rd. I really got to work on artwork. I gotta find a bunch of reference and really push myself to try and get that done by Christmas, on Christmas if need be. Yeah, I'm in the final push on this for sure. Slightly exhausting. Alright. Yeah, I'm going to end the stream for now, just because, like I said, I want to call the wife, and this is emotional. This part right here reminds me a lot of my separation and where I'm at in my relationship right now, and it hurts. It's painful. So, yeah, I'm going to take a break for now. Try not to cry. I'll be back tomorrow morning. Alright, peace out, people. Sleep good.